Good evening, everyone. As we gather here tonight formally for the first time as a school community, I also want to extend a warm welcome to each of you, especially to the newest members of the Pomfret School community, both students and faculty alike. Tonight's festivities, including our traditional opening sundial ceremony and this chapel gathering, are long-standing rituals that serve as important anchoring points at the beginning of each new school year. They remind us of the rich history and enduring values that define the Pomfret community and set the tone for the year ahead. We are here tonight to embark on Pomfret's 131st school year. As we stand on the threshold of this new adventure, I'd like to share a few of my own hopes for what lies ahead. Whether you are just beginning your time at Pomfret or nearing the end of your journey here. My dad was a longtime boarding school track coach, guiding runners and throwers and jumpers through both winter and spring seasons. For 41 years, he clicked away on his classic Hanhart stopwatch, offering encouragement and wisdom to the members of his team, always pushing them to be their very best. I spent my childhood years at his side at track meets, soaking up the atmosphere and admiring the athletes. Dad saw track and field, and I think athletics more broadly, as a metaphor for life. As a collegiate runner himself, he knew that sports demanded and rewarded hard work, resilience, teamwork, commitment, and importantly, aspirational goal setting. He saw the Olympics as the apotheosis of sport. He had miniature posters from every Summer Olympic Games hanging in his office, and I remember them well. I believe we would have loved the Paris Olympics and the countless stories that unfolded there this summer. In an Olympic qualifying event just before the Paris Olympics began, Ukrainian high jumper Yaroslava Mahuchik cleared a bar at an astounding 2.1 meters, or 6 feet 11 inches. Her incredible jump broke a record that had stood for 37 years. About a month later, during the Olympics, Swedish pole vaulter Mondo Duplantis set a new world record himself by soaring over the bar at 6.25 meters, or 20 feet 6 inches. That was almost a foot. It was 11 inches, to be precise, higher than the silver medal winning jump. These feats were truly mind-boggling. But what was really remarkable about these record-breaking jumps, and what surely would have pleased my dad to no end, is that Mahuchik and Duplantis had already won their events when they jumped into history. They didn't have to push themselves. They chose to. And because of that will and that drive, their record-breaking jumps were not just remarkable athletic achievements, they served as powerful testimonies to the potential within each of us to achieve what we may consider to be out of reach. Their accomplishments are the very definition of what it means to raise the bar, both literally and figuratively, to push beyond perceived limits, to embrace challenges, and to acknowledge that failure is inevitable on our way to growth and greatness, and maybe even glory. Yes, these two athletes literally raised the bar in their respective sports, but there are so many other Olympic athletes who provided their own lessons that deserve attention and merit. Simone Biles, most of you have heard of her, had to drop out of the Tokyo Olympics when she developed what was called the twisties. She had to overcome significant challenges to return to the Paris Games, and when she did, she returned as the most decorated Olympic gymnast in history. She then proceeded to win 4 more medals, 3 of them gold. Pretty amazing. Cuban Greco-Roman wrestler Mijaín Lopez became the first athlete in any sport to win 5 consecutive gold medals in the same event. all the more remarkable because he hadn't participated in international competition since the last Olympics. And despite being horribly harassed and unfairly accused of cheating, Algerian women's boxer Iman Khalif won the gold medal in the 66-kilogram event, and now, as her lawyer recently said, has decided to lead a new fight, one of justice, dignity, and honor. Truly courageous. These stories and many more, there were, after all, 329 medal events at the Olympics, inspired me and so many other people during the Games. But the gold medal stories were not the only stories of the Olympics, because we saw time and time again that hard work and determination do not guarantee anything. They certainly don't guarantee that you'll win a medal of any color. When our nephew Alexander rode in the Olympics, he came up short in his pursuit of a medal. I witnessed firsthand the dedication that he and his rowing teammates brought to preparing for the Olympics. They worked at least as hard as the gold medalists that I just mentioned, and they certainly worked as hard as the other rowers in the boats that finished just ahead of them. And yet they came back with no medal, no hardware to show for their efforts. But after the Olympics, Alexander said to me, "The memories I have are not of the 5-minute race, but of the 3+ years of training beforehand." To him and his teammates and his coaches, the pursuit of the high bar was what mattered most. The aspirational journey, he told me, was the destination. And that's true for about 90% of all Olympians. The dawn of a new school year is a time for each of us to reflect on the possible destinations ahead. And this applies to everyone in the chapel tonight. Teachers, like coaches of Olympic athletes, stand ready to help you students grow, even as they continue to push themselves to grow as educators. And like Olympians preparing for a shot at gold medal glory, you students should go into this new year with your own set of ambitious goals. This means challenging yourselves to reach higher than you may think possible. It means expecting more from yourselves than you ever thought you had before. It means developing and maintaining deep commitment to excellence in your academic, athletic, artistic, and personal endeavors. It means committing to kindness, to understanding, to compassion, and to helping others. And it means doing all of this, knowing that at times you will not get over the bar that you or your families or your teachers helped set for you. Filmmaker James Cameron, the guy who brought us Titanic and Avatar and Terminator 2, I think it was, Aliens, and a handful of other great movies, once said, "If you set your goals ridiculously high and it's a failure, you will fail above everyone else's success." Along these lines, Jim Collins, who's a well-known author who has studied what makes people excel, emphasizes the importance of setting what he called big, hairy, audacious goals. So instead of setting a goal this year, such as passing all my courses, how about making the honor roll? Or even becoming a head of school scholar? Do you confine your singing and vocal performances to when you're driving alone or hanging out with friends? How about mustering the courage to join the festival chorus, or even do a solo up here in chapel? Have you worked really hard to improve in a particular sport? If so, why not at least try out for varsity instead of automatically relegating yourself to JV? The experience of allowing yourself to be vulnerable by reaching for something that you may think undoable will launch you much further than successfully achieving a less ambitious goal. Mind you, I am not suggesting that you look to attain the impossible. I'm asking you to aim for the aspirational. I don't expect you to break world records as Yaroslava Mahuchik Armando Duplantis did, or reach some seemingly unattainable standard, such as Simone Biles did. But I do want you to adopt some of these athletes' mindsets. I also want to ask you to ask yourselves what you are willing to do while maintaining a healthy balance in your lives, which is really important. What will you do to reach your goals? When you come up short, and you will at some point come up short, will you wallow in self-pity? Or are you going to redouble your efforts and try again? And then when you do reach a goal, will you sit back and bask in the satisfaction of having attained that goal? Or will you follow the example of Mahouchik and Duplantis, who achieved legendary status by raising the bar when they didn't have to? At Pomfret, you won't have to raise the bar alone. Look around at the adults in this community. These people will be there alongside you, nurturing and cajoling, pushing, exhorting, encouraging you. And I want you to know that we believe in you, and we fully support you as you try your best. You wouldn't be at Pomfret if you didn't have the capacity to grow significantly, to shine, and to exceed your expectations. There was one other thing that occurred to me as I watched some of the astounding performances in Paris this summer. As I've said, I was deeply impressed by the feats themselves, but I was also struck as I watched athletes support and encourage excellence in their competitors. Did any of you see Simone Biles and Jordan Chiles bow down, take a knee in deference before Brazilian gymnast Rebecca Andrade, who had just beaten them to win the gold medal in the floor exercise? Wow, they were lifting up another person, and that person was their rival. Or did you witness American pole vaulter Sam Kendricks? He's the guy who jumped 19 feet 7 inches. He won the silver medal. But after he'd already guaranteed that spot, he stood behind Duplantis and tried to get the crowd psyched up to encourage Duplantis to break the world record. To me, those gestures were as impressive and important as the gold medal winning performances themselves. These athletes were very intentionally trying to help others to be the very best they could be. And so I ask you students to imagine how amazing this year could be if you also took on the role of coaches for your friends and classmates, sharing in the encouraging and cajoling and nurturing and pushing each other to raise the bar in the classroom, on the playing fields, on the stage, in the dorms, as well as in your interactions with other members of this community. Legendary basketball star Kobe Bryant once said, "The most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do." I can promise you that that is the mentality that your teachers and your coaches and your advisors will bring to their work with you this year. I hope it's also the spirit that you students will embrace. As we embark on this journey together, know that getting over the raised bars won't always be easy or straightforward or even attainable. But it's in moments of struggle and striving and overcoming that strength and resilience and character are forged and excellence takes root. Each of us has a blank canvas on which to paint our own story over the next 9 months. As we approach this year, let us be kind to ourselves and to one another. Let us take joy from the friendships and relationships that define this community. Let's aim to make Pomfret a better place next May than it is today by raising the bar for ourselves and for those around us. If we can commit ourselves to doing just that, it will indeed be a year for the record books. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the evening. We're adjourned.